Good afternoon to you all. Welcome to this episode of Women Rise. I'm called Madreen. Yes, you're welcome. This is quite a special show because we are having someone internationally. So, Women Rise is going international. We have someone very special, a strong woman. She has a very big profile and doing an amazing work with the women all over the African continent. We are really so honored to have her in our studios, in our space, to speak to you, of course, as she shares her story, her experience, so that you are who is watching us are able to learn something from her work experience. Yes, if this is your first time watching us, please subscribe to the channel, like the show, and of course share the link to your friends so that they're able to also get this good experience. So join me welcome Miss Nana Wanjau. Nana is the Vice President of Commonwealth Business Women Africa. She is a prominent Pan-African leader and an advocate for women's empowerment. We are really so honored to have you, Nana.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's truly a pleasure to be here.
Welcome to Uganda.
Congratulations to Women Rise going international.
Yes. We are really so privileged to have you. Welcome to Uganda.
It's wonderful, and I brought you a lot of rain.
Indeed,
Yes,
indeed.
Yes. So
Yes.
we've come with blessings for Kampala.
So how is Kampala? How have you found Kampala so far?
Very warm. The people are very warm, very friendly. The weather is great. It's so green, lush. So I've truly enjoyed my few days here in Kampala. Enjoying the local cuisine of matoke. And the groundnuts.
The groundnuts. Okay.
And I'm looking forward to experiencing, I hear, the nightlife. I hear there's no other nightlife like the Uganda.
The life in Kampala.
I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
Today is a weekend actually.
Yeah.
Maybe today or tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. So Nana, to someone who doesn't know who Nana is, who is Nana?
Well, Nana is about service. If I had to sum myself, what I do, what I love, what is at the core of my heart, it's service.
Okay.
I'm born from a Kenyan father and a Tanzanian mother.
Oh.
And I was raised by my grandmother.
Okay.
A woman that, thank you Lord, she's still alive, she's still working.
Wow.
She's still strong.
Amazing.
Her eyesight is excellent.
Wow.
Probably better than mine.
Wow.
Yes, in a small village called Bukoba.
Okay.
In Tanzania. And I think my grandmother really has a lot to do with who I am today.
Wow.
She shaped me, The first decade of my life was with her, and that shaped me into who I am today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Blessings to her.
Yeah, yes. No wonder God has still given her great life. Great life.
Yeah. At least she's enjoying the fruits.
Fruits, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So
besides that, I am married to one man. I have two sons.
Okay.
Two young adults in my home. The older one is graduated with his master's, and the younger one is in year 3.
Wow.
So my home is a home of men.
How does it feel?
It's excellent because boys love their mothers very much.
Yeah, true.
So
the attachment is too strong.
Yes, I am treated like a queen.
Ah.
Even on this trip, I came with my older son, who is into global business. So as a businessman, he also likes to make sure he travels and explores opportunities.
Yeah.
And of course, traveling is another way of learning and growing. So
True,
I encourage my children to travel. Because I'm also a businesswoman, I'm a graduate of Strathmore Business School, Lagos Business School, and Harvard Business School.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so Nana, we go into what you're doing. Yes, Vice President of the Commonwealth Business Women Africa. Tell us more about this.
In fact, I'd like to go back a little bit because how I got to Commonwealth Businesswomen Africa, as I said, at my heart is core is service. And I was privileged to be introduced to service at a very young age through Rotary.
Ah.
Yes. My mother was a Rotarian. My mother is the late. May her soul rest in peace.
Amen.
She was a Rotarian, and she used to take me to all community projects that she hosted. Because of her medical background as a medical doctor, she held huge medical camps in slums to help the poor, especially women, when it came to health in terms of fertility or infertility, the babies, vaccinations, and so on. And when she would take me to these medical camps, she would give me something to do, hand over the water to the children, or give them some sweets or something. So I began to serve from just by interacting in these medical camps in the communities, in the slums. From there, when I was growing up, I realized I had a special passion for women. Women, and to be specific, ostracized widows. I told you I was raised by my grandmother.
Yes.
When my grandpa passed on, my grandmother faced a lot of difficulties. She was forced to leave the house, to leave the homestead I grew up in, where she was married. So I took a special liking to helping women, widows specifically, who are ostracized. Now, you may not know, some people may not know what ostracized really means.
Yes.
A widow who is ostracized, it means that they have been rejected by her family after her husband passes on. And there are some cultures, unfortunately, in our African continent that demand that this woman should be cleansed, sexually cleansed, in order for her to continue living in the homestead and for her to continue being supported by the family. So we've advocated against that. As you can imagine, sexual cleansing with the diseases it carries along, and also it strips the woman of her dignity.
True.
Yes. So we've advocated against that for a very long time. So I decided, because an ostracized woman is a woman who's been rejected from her homestead, from her community, the first point to support this woman is to build her a shelter.
A shelter.
So we support the ostracized widows with housing, because they're outside, they're in the streets, they're in the bush, very vulnerable, We support the children through education, economic empowerment programs, so that they're able to go back on their own 2 feet, and then through partnerships, we find them legal assistance.
Wow.
That's where I came from. Of course, I'm also a Rotarian. I'm the past president of Rotary, Nairobi East.
Okay.
And my passion, again, to help women led me to Commonwealth Businesswomen Africa. I saw an opportunity where we can help women beyond my village, beyond my city or my country.
Yes.
We can help women across the continent through building this network. We are now in 28 countries in Africa. Yes. This network brings women together in a manner that we can learn from one another. Our vision and mission is to build leaders and economically empower women. This is very, very important, because policies are made at the top, and we women are not seated at the table where policies concerning us are made. So even if we talk about gender-based violence, if we talk about sanitary pads for young girls, those policies are being made by men at the top. So it's very important for Commonwealth Businesswomen Africa to build leaders who will sit at the policy tables and make decisions and design policies that will
also
work
favor
for us.
Women, yeah.
Yeah, will work for us. So that's what we are doing at Commonwealth Business Women Africa. Every year we gather, and I would like to put it out there that March 2025, the Commonwealth Business Women Africa Summit is happening in Nigeria. It is a place, as a woman, as a young person, you should be. In these forums when we gather, it's a networking opportunity. We network with the women from the Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, Central, North.
Yeah.
Even if Commonwealth is not in the northern part of the continent, we as Commonwealth Business Women Africa, we decided, because of our sisterhood on the continent, we know Ethiopia was not part of the Commonwealth, but join us. Because we can learn from you, you can learn from us. We can hold each other, because your problem as a woman in Egypt, your problem as a woman in Ethiopia, my problem as a woman in Kenya, they are similar.
Yeah, similar, yes. Yeah.
Probably you have found a solution to the problem I'm still having. I can learn from you on how to overcome. All right?
Yeah.
So March 2025, Commonwealth Business Women Africa Summit is happening in Nigeria. And I welcome the women of the continent to come and join us.
Wow.
So that we can learn from one another.
Beautiful. So Nana, how do you become the Vice President of the Commonwealth Business Women Africa?
It goes back to service, because Commonwealth Business Women Africa is a volunteer organization. Yes, it's a volunteer. It's a space where leaders, female leaders with a heart to serve our continent, come and say, I can put in my intellect, I can put in my time, I can put in my money, I can mentor young boys and girls. And that brings me to what we do that's, very, very important. You hear we are Commonwealth Business Women. We are women. And we have done a lot of work in raising the girl child, and we are very proud of that. And building women's capacity and creating leaders. We are very proud of that. But as mothers of Africa, we give birth to both the girl child
and boys.
And the boy child.
Yeah.
The boy child is
Someone will
ours.
say the boy child, you're leaving the boy child out.
No. I want to make that very loud and very clear.
Okay.
We are not leaving the boy child. The boy child is our child.
Yes.
And what we are avoiding is a reversal role, because we are seeing a lot of gender-based violence cases across the continent, really. The boy child is feeling emasculated. And therefore they are using the muscle to affirm themselves as men. Muscle to violently attack the women, attack the girl child. And we have started a campaign in partnership with the ILO, Institute of Labor Organization. We have a 4-part series. We just had the first one a few weeks ago. This program is called Positive Masculinity, redefining positive masculinity in Africa, in the African context. And this is driven by our heads of state, so it's very important. November 2023, the heads of state in Africa gathered in Pretoria, South Africa. That was the 3rd conference on positive masculinity. That's how important it is that our heads of state actually take time every year to gather and discuss positive masculinity. Why? Because, as I said, the cases of gender-based violence are escalating across the continent. The boy child needs a role model. So we need to encourage men to step up and become role models for these boys. We as women can't do it alone. You know what they say, it does take a village to raise a child. And when we say step up and be a role model, be a mentor, you don't have to biologically be the father of that child, but you can adopt this child. and make sure that this child has somebody to look up to. Some men we are calling champions of supporting the work around women, so that we can reduce the cases of gender-based violence. And why for us it's important that we have engaged in the boy child and also defining positive masculinity is because in future we don't want a reversal of roles where the girl has now become very strong, very powerful, she becomes the oppressor.
Yes.
You know?
No. Yeah.
Or where it gets out of hand and the boy just decides, I will just escalate the violence. So we want a balance.
A balance.
Yes.
True,
we want
right.
a balance. We want equality for both the child, boy child and girl child.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful work. So how does the country become part of the Commonwealth Business Women Africa? You mentioned that so far you're in 25 countries. Yeah.
And I'm very happy to say that Commonwealth Business Women Africa Ugandan chapter is in place.
Wow.
Yes, under the very able leadership of Belinda Blick.
Wow.
Yes, and they are doing very, very well. Some of the projects that you asked, how do you become? It's really out of interest to be able to raise leaders in your country, do projects in your country, and some of the projects that are currently happening even here in Uganda. Around youth. I've already talked about the positive male masculinity. I've talked about that. Yesterday I visited the Naguru remand home, just not too far I think from here, where young boys and girls, a few girls were there, who have been in conflict with the law are held. They have children there between the age of 12 and 17. So we went to have a mentorship session with them. So in Uganda, how to raise the next generation of boys through positive masculinity, that program is already underway.
Ongoing.
Yes.
Wow.
And it was in partnership with the Rotary Club. Another project that's happening is the 1 Million African Girls program, coding program. 1 Million African Girls Coding Program. We launched this January this year, and I'm happy to say Uganda again has already rolled out in I think 2 schools.
Wow.
We want to close the gender digital divide between boys and girls when it comes to technology and digital literacy. And one way we are going to do that is we've committed to train 1 million African girls on coding and artificial intelligence, their application of artificial intelligence. So Uganda, that program is already rolled out. Our partners are called Codris Africa. Okay, but we're looking for more partners to come on board.
You mentioned you already done this in 2 schools. Are you only targeting the girl child in schools, or?
This particular program is for girls. However, it can be done online. In terms of schools, we are targeting girls' schools. However, online, even boys can apply and be part of the program. Another important program that's currently happening in Uganda and across our network is the Trade Center. We've developed a Trade Center, an online trade center e-commerce platform, where now our network, whether the woman is in Lesotho, or she's in Zambia, or she's in Nigeria, or Kenya, or Uganda, you can upload your goods and services and sell them on an e-commerce platform without you having to travel, without you having to experience manipulation, rent. You don't even have rent. So, Trade Center, the Commonwealth Business Women Africa Trade Center, is also rolled out in Uganda.
Wow.
So you can hear there's already
a lot happening in Uganda.
Not just across the continent, but in Uganda. And that's the beauty of our network. The projects we roll out tend to be applicable across the continent. So if I say 1 million African girls coding program, the children in Lesotho are already on that program. Uganda, they're on the program. Kenya, they're on the program. Nigeria, the children are on the program.
All right. So, Nana, We have, when you mention, when we hear Commonwealth business women Africa, someone might say you're only doing, focusing on business, women in business. This question comes in. Women in business are leading the way when it comes to establishing their own businesses. And it is seen that women make 58% of the continent's self-employed population. The however side is that women earn less profits, yes, compared to men. Where is the gap? We are seeing many women in business starting these small businesses, and yet when it comes to getting the profits, we are earning less. Where is the problem?
Well, there's a historical note to that, in the sense that men have had a head start. Men were sent to school at some point, and girls were told to stay home,
at home
and cook and sweep. So the men have had a head start. That's one. But also, realistically speaking, we women have a lot on our plate. What we have to balance
is a lot.
If I'm going to the office, I'm also dropping my children to school, I'm checking on them, I'm taking them to doctors, I'm taking old people to doctors. When we are young, the family unit is my responsibility at the core. I'm the one who's running around. Daddy is working in the office, he will come back. But if I'm working, I work and I still look after the babies. When we get older, it doesn't end there. Our aging parents become also our responsibility. So we continue to look after the elders. We are actually now advocating that unpaid care work needs to be measured and quantified. We need data. Now, this is at the policy level, where we need data to be able to quantify this unpaid care work and see how much of that unpaid care work actually contributes to the national GDP, the continent's GDP. Why is it important? Because unpaid care work, when somebody gets sick and I am looking after them, this person is able to rest, eat, sleep, because I'm looking after them, I'm washing them, I'm washing their clothes, their environment, then they are able to recover quickly and go to work. If I was not there to take care of them, they would probably ail in bed for a very long time. So we need to be able to measure the unpaid care work and quantify it to monetary value. So there is a lot that is on our shoulders that you find we are 1 foot in, we are 1 foot out.
Away.
We can't work maybe for long hours because you have to run home to cook food or oversee. Even if you have a maid, you have to oversee that the food is on the table. What we are doing at Commonwealth Business Women Africa, we are taking now steps when we are training women on business acumen, how they can be able to scale their businesses alongside all the work they are doing. We have capacity building programs. I'll give you a small example of, because when you hear Commonwealth Business Women Africa, you think it's women like me, like you only. No. We work with the women from the grassroots level all the way to the C-suite. We work with them. We have one of our partners called IOSH, Institute of Safety and Health. It's Commonwealth Business Women African partner. What they do, they come into your work environment and make sure that you and your employees, your staff, you are working in a safe and healthy environment. We took them to a project in a place called Kajiado in Kenya, where women, widows, used to go into these abandoned mines to dig for rubble. They dig for that soapstone, they put them in 50-kilogram bags, they carry them to the roadside, and they sell at 20 Kenya shillings, which is at probably 0.5 or 0.4 cents US dollars. Less than $1.
Yeah.
Less than half $1. A 50 kilogram bag. These are women.
And you're doing it full day.
And you're doing it full day in the heat. And that's not even enough. These walls collapse on these women when they're inside there. The limbs are broken, backs are broken. They are buried alive by those sand walls. We want to remove them from this work environment. But how do you remove a woman? Tell her, don't go there, when you don't give an alternative means of income.
Yeah.
But we worked around that. And IOSH as a partner, they helped us put a package together to train these women on how to make fish flies. Fish flies are those little things that fishermen put on the hook that catch the fish. Normally they used to use worms, but these days they use fish flies. These women who were in the quarries, death traps of those quarries, are making fish flies.
Wow.
They are exporting the fish flies to Europe. Yes, officially.
Wow.
They are no longer in the quarries. They are at home with their machines making fish flies, exporting them to Europe.
Wow.
I mean, it is an amazing,
really amazing, yeah.
That they were able to get out of those death traps. We call them death traps. Yeah. So we work with women across the board. Yes.
And there's something in your profile. You do work with women in the fisheries industry towards eliminating sexual harassment against women in the workplaces. In Uganda alone, we have a lot that is happening. You know, young girls are trapped. For you to get a job, you are trapped. Giving something for you to get something. Yes. What are you doing as an organization to see that this is controlled and eliminated completely?
Eliminated, truly. Again, the woman has to be empowered. In Kisumu, in Kenya, this group of women who we are working with to give them, first of all, economic power. That means these women must own their own boats. They must be business owners. So we've been doing a lot of capacity building programs to educate them on how they can be business owners sustainably. They must own the boats, because what's happening right now, the men go, they come, and then the women are at shore waiting for this fish. That is where the power dynamics is you see the power dynamics there, where the men have the power and the women, even if you have the money, you're almost begging to buy that fish. That's where sexual harassment and sexual coercion comes in. So economic power, they become business owners. Fish ponds, we are teaching them how to earn rather than just rely on the lake. Fish ponds, raw fish ponds. Another thing we are doing with that particular group of women is value add. Currently, the only thing they do is get the fish, either sell it fresh or fry it. But we've taught them there's something called fish leather. Fish leather, very, very in high demand currently in Europe and the US. Fish leather is...
What's that?
It is exactly
I think I'm hearing.
It is. It is exactly what it is.
Okay.
You know when you cut the fish, like fillet, the way they cut the fillet, the skin, normally they discard it. That skin can be treated. There is a process. It can be treated and turned into fish leather. Fish leather that makes handbags, belts, shoes, other high-end accessories.
Wow.
You see? That is what will give these women economic power. Alternative means of income, economic power, where they are earning, they are the business owners. We've also secured a piece of land for them to do regenerative farming. Now, regenerative farming, as you know, women, don't have tracts and tracts of land. But regenerative farming, it means you can take half an acre and maximize the output. You can maximize. So we are training them on how only half an acre you can be rich by learning how to maximize this. Because the plants feed into each other. You don't use pesticides and so on.
Wow. And then there's also something about ending gender-based violence. Yes, a lot of women are facing this gender-based violence, also domestic violence with women at home. You see, you might be working, but then, you know, in terms of power, the men have more power than the women. Yes, a lot of women are dying because of this violence. Yes. In specific, what are you doing to see that these women are being helped?
One, I've already touched on it. I won't repeat the positive masculinity program and how to raise the next generation of men. That is one program. Secondly, we have to change really the cultures. We have to really change the cultures behind gender-based violence. One point I remember, we went for a courtesy call to visit a certain past governor, former governor, because we were going to train women in his county. And so we told him what we are going to do, the programs we are going to run, so that the women are able to earn, you know, and contribute to the families and so on. So he was very happy, but at the end when we were leaving, he said, do not empower the women too much. We don't want them to be arrogant. So empower them just a little. So you see,
they're scared.
As opposed to seeing that if she earns and I earn, we bring our earnings together, the family is stronger, you know, it's for the good of the family, the community. They see it as competition. There are some men who become violent because the woman has gained some economic power, some independence. Then they feel that what defines them as a man, which is being taken away, is being taken away. Then they become violent. Okay? So, but it's something that we cannot do alone. This kind of, to change culture, you need to engage all the stakeholders. Men, women, yes, but our community leaders. Our community leaders, the chiefs, need also to be engaged. Our government needs to be engaged. It's one thing for the government to write the policies and say, like, you know, the heads of state, when they met, they declared that they will do everything they can to ensure that gender-based violence ends, and they will support programs around gender-based violence. But on the ground, who's going to execute that? It is associations like Commonwealth Business Women Africa. It is the community leaders on the ground that we have to have a sit and a chat with and say, these cultures may have worked at a certain point, but now they're not working. Cultures like child marriages, FGM, female genital mutilation, they have no space in this world. Whoever thought they had at some point, not in this world. And you and I, we must speak against this. So we are doing a lot around FGM. That's why even the 1 Million African Girls Coding Program is in place to be able to empower this girl digitally as well as conventional learning. And we are working with community leaders. In fact, we are very happy that the farm I talked about, that we have secured to do regenerative farming, it was given to Commonwealth Business Women Africa by a chief. Yes. To support the work around capacity building for women and young people.
That's beautiful. People are really engaging.
Yes, we are beginning to really reach out to the men, to the chiefs, and we are looking for male champions. I mentioned that earlier. To be able to advocate for us, because sometimes if you say, we talk about gender-based violence, they don't hear. They don't see it, they don't hear it, they don't take it seriously. But if one of them
comes up and
stands up and said, we must end gender-based violence in our homes, we must protect our girl child, then they will listen.
True.
So all that, even positive male masculinity, is going towards ending gender-based violence. Yeah.
So Nana, you're a mother, you're a wife, and then you're doing a lot of work, you're moving country to country. How are you able to juggle through all this as a woman?
I try to, first of all, I believe you can't do everything at once.
Yes.
So what in my experience is that there is a season for everything.
True.
When I got married, I was in a corporate job, the 8 to 5 and traveling and so on. But I was very clear, and I told my husband, when we are ready to have children, I'm going to stay home. Now that was my choice. That is not everybody's choice.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's very important because you have to define how you want your life to run. It's yours. Don't look at what culture says. Don't look at what your mother didn't do. Look at your life.
Yeah.
And what you are capable in your own context. What does it mean if I quit my job and stay home and look after my children? But for me, it was very key for me. That's one of my values, family.
Family.
And we learned just the other day at Naguru Remand Home that children don't raise themselves.
Yeah, true.
Children don't raise themselves. That is why those young boys and girls are in the remand home right now.
Yeah.
Because there's no father, or there's no mother, or it's broken homes.
We are all busy.
They're all busy.
Yeah.
The children find themselves in groups and gangs, and they're misled. Children don't raise themselves. So I gave up one thing and focused on one thing. I made my choice. So that's why I'm saying, for me, I see life as you can't do everything at once. But my children grew up. As I said, one has completed his master's, the other one is in his third year. You see, now I'm able to serve and travel.
Yeah.
I'm here in Kampala with my oldest son. I said that in the beginning. That is a way for me also to stay engaged with my children.
Yeah.
Although they are young adults now, but if I can find a way of combining my work, my family, I will do it. It's not always possible, but we do as much as we can. I'm also in real estate as a businesswoman.
Okay.
But I've been in real estate for a very long time, over 18 years. So my business is solid. And I have staff that I can rely on, staff that I've had for years. So even when I'm not there, the business is able to run.
Yes. Yeah. But Nana, you mentioned you decided to focus on family first. In these challenging times, yes, in Uganda in particular, it's a lot of challenges as a woman. You have to work, or maybe the money is coming in from the man is not enough. So you find yourself, you have to leave your child at home as early as 3 months and then go back to work. Yeah. So.
Well, as I said, I left corporate work in order to focus on my children. That is how I started my real estate business.
Ah.
I had the ability to manage my time. When my children sleep, I run to site. I know they'll sleep for an hour or so before they wake up. I run to site. I come back.
Yeah.
When I know they're going to wake up at a certain time, it gives me leeway to meet my team. Okay. But I started my real estate business from home.
From home.
When I said I don't want to do the 8 to 5 because I have zero control of my time. I need to be able to control my time.
Do something, else.
So when I left corporate work, I started my real estate job, and I had flexible time. I was able to manage my time. That's how I did it. But remember, I said these are personal choices.
True.
My
true.
choice is not
It's
necessarily
not,
your choice or anybody's choice.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all in the context of your life and what you're willing to give up and what you're not willing to give up.
All right. So Nana, there are a lot of things that you do. I see you're also the founder of Power Women International. Yes. How are you able to handle all these responsibilities, work in particular?
If you look,
you're in real estate, Rotary. I mean, there is a lot of work that you're handling. Yes.
If you look closely, all my work is interconnected.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
My real estate company gives me the privilege of being able to work with ostracized widows and build for them homes.
Homes, yeah.
You see?
A smart move.
That's how it's connected.
Yes.
And then I told you I have a passion for service.
Yeah.
Specifically women. So widows, women in the quarries, women being sexually harassed at the lake as they get their fish. Those are all, I feel the pain of these women. But it's, you see, it is women matters.
Women, yeah.
Commonwealth business women. When I'm mentoring young girls, it's because they need a woman to look up to. When we are working with women in trade, like now the Trade Center I talked about, the Commonwealth Business Women Africa Trade Center, that's a platform to enable women to trade goods and services. So you see, if you look closely, they are all very, very similar.
Very close,
very similar.
Yeah.
Branding Beyond Borders is another entity I own, and we create synergies and platforms where we can learn from one another. Every year we have the Commonwealth Business Women Africa Summit. It is again a platform that brings great minds together. Yes. We learn, we tell stories, we make decisions, we encourage each other, and Branding Beyond Borders is not too far off that kind of thing. So for me, I do things that are interconnected, so that I am not going two way out. I will probably, if I have to do anything around health, it would still be around women. It will be around women. How can I help these women?
So Nana, you tell us you have moved to different countries, and what are some of the common challenges that you think you have seen or witnessed women face all over the continent?
There are many, but let me say culture. Culture is still a hindrance. That's why we still are battling with FGM, female genital mutilation. We are still battling early childhood marriages. We are battling gender-based violence. Culture is a huge hindrance to the progression of women. And we've taken it upon us, as I said, to not just talk about it amongst us women, but to bring in the men, to bring in the boy, the girl, and most importantly, our leaders, our community leaders, not just political space at the top government, which is very important because policy is key, but our community leaders, because they have a huge influence on the culture in our communities. If they say no to early marriages, some things will begin to change on the ground. So culture is a huge hindrance. Financial access. Women, now we are beginning to see some of these institutions creating packages specifically for women, but it's not yet enough. Across the continent, most still women up today, you need collateral to be able to get a loan. To be able to get a loan to inject into your business. So again, the private sector needs to really step up and create packages that will allow women to earn, to get the finance they need without physical collateral assets. Like your history, let's say.
That's also that interest. Most times the interest is also overwhelming.
I will also probably speak of confidence.
Very key.
Confidence
Very key.
is internal.
Yeah.
And confidence, or rather the lack of confidence, is a challenge. Even the confidence to approach financial, the confidence to sell your idea, if you're selling goods, if you're selling services, maybe you're a trainer of trainers, maybe you're a consultant, you can consult in something. That confidence of going out there and packaging yourself and standing up and telling people that these are the goods I have, these are the services I can offer you. Women will lack confidence. And that's one of the things as Commonwealth Business Women Africa, in the capacity building, we don't leave out confidence.
Very important.
We must make sure the women are trained to stand up, because there's a program called Women on Boards, training women how to sit on boards. Because, as I said, policies are made at the top.
Yes.
And we women are not there.
Yeah.
But it is not enough to just say, we are going to practice the 30-50 gender rule and have 3 women on our board. Women have to be able to contribute effectively, so that you are an impact. It's not that when you go there,
someone there.
If you don't, if they are not able to contribute effectively, then the only thing they'll be telling you is to make the men tea, bring them tea. So Women in Board is a program that trains women on how to sit on boards effectively.
Wow.
Confidence. And it can be trained, but most importantly, it must be practiced. Is it 2 days ago I was telling my team that I always get the nerves, I always feel scared, but I still have to go and do what I need to do, and do it scared. Because the scariness will not go. The nervousness will not disappear. Yeah. But by going through with that scary and nervousness, that's how we build our confidence. So we have to practice. And through our programs at Commonwealth Business Women Africa, we train women on how to develop their confidence, by making sure we give them roles. Remember, I said Commonwealth Business Women Africa, our vision and mission is to develop leaders and build economic empowerment for the women. That comes with practice. Yeah.
Wow. Very, very beautiful and important for you, a viewer who is watching us too, as a young girl, there is a lot to pick from Nana, what she has just said. Don't just sit there. You need to practice.
You need to practice.
Yes.
You need to practice, and you need to take on responsibility. You see, responsibility gets you respect, and it gets you the experience. And it gets you confidence, because if you can do this, then you can do the next one, one step at a time.
Wow.
But service, you see, to be a leader, you have to be able to serve people. You have to be able to serve people. So service, get yourself somewhere to serve, whether it's in your school.
You can start there.
You can start there.
At home.
I was so inspired by a lady we had dinner with the other day, who is a farmer. And we wanted to go and see her farm today. And she said, no, I'm not there today, come tomorrow, which is Saturday, because I am going to mentor women in another far village on how they can use their small patches of land for maximum production.
Wow.
Now, that is service. She took the thing that she knows, and God gave us, everybody has a gift. This woman has taken the gift she's been given by God. She's serving with that gift. That is leadership. So don't look for big words, or I want to be like Nana, Commonwealth Business Women Africa to serve. No.
Where you are.
You start where you are. You've been gifted with something. Serve. Use it. Talk to a young lady, a young boy. Go and see the sick, the elderly. Do something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is the purpose of this particular show, Women Rise, because we believe your learning a lot. So Nana, as we come to the end of the conversation, to a young woman who has been watching us, yes, you have inspired her. Yes, she would want to, to copy something from you, want to be like you. Speak to that young girl. What can she do? What can she focus on?
Be like Nana. That's a funny one. First of all, I will start there. Don't be like Nana.
Yes.
Be like you. You are made in God's image, whole, complete, and irresistibly fabulous. Be you. I have just said, God has gifted us, each equally in our own capacity. I would like to tell you, find your gift. Nurture that gift. You may not know what your gift is, but ask people around you.
Yeah.
What do they say you do the best? Yani, if it is interviewing, I can't interview like you, but you can. I can't be behind the camera, but he can. So look at what you're good at. Nurture that. And the way you easily can develop your gift, as I said, you serve with your gift. Serve with your gift. If you are good with the camera, offer to take photos of somebody, who of even projects, and document them. If you're good with your hands, teach another person the same. So I would say be yourself. And I also want to acknowledge, remember, Commonwealth Business Women Africa is a consortium of very powerful women. And when I say powerful, I am not talking of money, no, but powerful hearts. Starting with our leader, my president, our president, Madam Ngozi Oyewole. Powerful leader. She's holding the vision of Commonwealth Business Women Africa at her heart, and she's driving it, and we are following diligently. So amongst the women, look around you and look for the women you can look up to. Women are standing up. Women are rising. Women are rising. Look up. I told you that the most influential person in my life was my grandmother.
Your grandmother, yeah.
Was my grandmother. I watched how she worked so hard, how she survived when she was under attack after her husband died. She's a survivor. I learned that from her. She produced what we ate. Every day she went to the farm and came back with food. So I knew even me, I can produce.
Yeah.
I learned that from her. So we don't have to look too far for role models.
Just around us.
Yeah, they are around us. Yes, it could be in your church, your community. It could be like me, my grandmother, who shaped me. Yes.
Wow. Wow, beautiful. And there is a phrase I got from Commonwealth Business Women Africa. It says, strong women do not wait for opportunities, they create them.
I like that one, yes.
I also loved it so much. Yes.
I like that one because it reminds me, one time I was speaking at a conference in Bilbao, Spain. And after the conference, there was a round table that I was invited to participate in privately. But they hadn't planned for me because I was invited. After I spoke, the host of the round table said, you must come into this private round table and participate in our discussions. And when I got there were 10 people and the chairs were 10. There was a couch at the end. So I sat at the couch wondering, where am I going to get a chair? So the young man who was handling the projector and whatever, I called him, I signaled at him. I told him, please go and get me a chair and put it at the table. So he went, he came back with a chair, and people had to move for me to be able to get a place to sit. That's it. Don't wait to be invited. Put up your hand.
Yes.
Put up your hand. Don't wait to be asked and begged. No. Put up your hand and say, I want to do that. I want to be part of this.
Yeah.
But if you find yourself in a space where you have no chair, Get a chair and they will all move and make space for you.
Wow, so brilliant. That is so powerful, Nana. Thank you so much. And so someone who wants to come to Kenya as we finish, yes, where should we find, Nana, all the most beautiful places in Kenya to visit?
Oh, because I'm Commonwealth Businesswomen Africa,
yes.
I can't just talk about Kenya.
I
have to at least tell you, if you're going to visit our networks across the continent,
yes.
South Africa, let's start there. Go to the Table Mountains. Zimbabwe, go to Musio Tunya. If you don't know what that is, find out. Kenya, Masai Mara. The big five, you've got to come to go to our national parks. Nigeria and Uganda, I think if you're going to experience anything there, it's the nightlife. It's the nightlife. I could go on and on and on. Yes. But the continent of Africa is beautiful. Very beautiful. I cannot touch on one country. Yes. They are all beautiful. Yeah. And the women, our diverse culture is so rich. That's what makes our network so beautiful, because of the diversity of our cultures. The way the South Africans behave is so different from the way the Nigerians behave. Yeah. So different from how the Ugandans behave. Even within East Africa, you will find Rwanda, Burundi, Kenya, Uganda. We are different. We may be the same, similar, but different. Yeah. And that's very, very rich diversity. We value that in Commonwealth Businesswomen Africa.
Wow. And your last remarks, Nana?
My last remark is, let me repeat, as a businesswoman trading in services or in goods, remember there is now the Commonwealth Businesswomen Africa Trade Center, where you can go and showcase your goods and services and trade with the continent, trade with the world. I want to extend an invitation to schools here in Kampala, especially girls' schools, to join the 1 Million African Girls Coding Program. We must close the digital gender divide. Our men, I'm calling on our men to step up as champions. Champions for ending violence against girls. Champions who the boy child can look up to as mentors. Finally, I'm inviting you to the Commonwealth Businesswomen Africa Summit happening in Lagos, Nigeria, March 2025. And we are online. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. Oh, please. We have a website, a very active website. Yes. Look us up at Commonwealth Businesswomen Africa.
Businesswomen Africa. Wow. It has been really a beautiful conversation with you, Nana. Thank you so much for sparing this time to come. Yes.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yes. And we look forward to more opportunities. Of course, we are women. Of course, if we do come to the Ugandan chapter, I think we shall really also benefit as women.
Please join the Ugandan chapter. Yeah. They are doing so well, and they are online as well. So
where do we find the Ugandan chapter?
Online.
Online?
Yes, find them online. Okay. Yes.
All right. All right. So you have been so very lovely viewers. Thank you so much. And if it was your first time watching us, please subscribe to the channel, like and share the link. Yes, of course, this has been a very beautiful conversation, and mainly for you, a young woman, also the boy child. Please, you are not left out. So share the link to your socials, to your circles, so that they can also watch this amazing conversation. I've been your host, Madreen. See you next week. Bye.